You are poor. You can't afford Cartier. So what do? Well, maybe consider one of these 8 awesome affordable alternatives to the Cartier Tank. The last time I did this, it became one of my most watched videos. So obviously, there are a lot of people out there that want the Cartier style, but without the price tag. All of the watches in this video cost less than £500, euros or dollars, so you don't need to worry about liking a watch only to have your hopes and dreams dashed when you realise it costs thousands. And they are a mixture of new and vintage alternatives, not just clones, not series replacements, cheaper alternatives. So here are 8 more awesome affordable alternatives to the Cartier Tank. Let's start with the cheapest watch on the list. It's the Casio LTP-B165. In the last video I featured the Casio MTP-1234, a simple but elegant rectangular dress watch, but Casio has blown that watch away with the LTP-B165. It comes in 3 model variants, gold tone with a blue dial, or stainless steel with a Tiffany blue or salmon dial. My favourite is the gold and blue combo for sure. The L in LTP indicates that these are technically ladies' watches, but the case measures 34.5mm by 24.5mm with a thickness of 8.3mm, which is just about perfect for an elegant tank style watch. The dials are very Cartier-esque, but combined with the step cases, these watches are tank watch perfection, except for one small detail, those colourful seconds hands. What were they thinking? It seems silly to think a seconds hand could spoil a watch, but it's nearly the case here. It would have been smarter to ditch the seconds hand altogether, I think. Still, if you do like them, they can be picked up for around £70 to £80, which I think is a little bit pricey for a Casio, but hopefully they will be available for a cheaper price in the near future. This next watch is from an up-and-coming British micro brand. At one time, Britain was a watchmaking mecca, manufacturing around half of the world's watches in the early 19th century, but by the turn of the 20th century, the Swiss had grabbed the baton and sprinted off into the distance. The Swiss embraced mass production, while the British continued to hand-make watches, and the rest, as they say, is history. But British brands are making a comeback, and one such example is Duckworth Prestex. This is the Centenary Rectangular, and it is based on a design from 1935, but you probably knew that just by looking at the dial. There is a choice of 3 dial options, blue, cream or salmon, and 5 different strap options, but all of them ooze Art Deco style and flair. The simple dial with small seconds complication lay the perfect platform for the beautiful applied numerals. At 24mm by 40mm, it's slightly larger than I would prefer, but it's going to be a great fit for most people. The watch is powered by a Swiss Ronda Quartz 1069 SM, which helps to keep the thickness down to a slim 7.5mm. The watch comes in at £495 on the leather strap, which isn't cheap by any means, but not extortionately expensive. I can't make one of these videos without mentioning watches from my own collection because, well, I have impeccable taste, of course. The Rotary GS7780/25 is a watch heavily inspired by the Patek Philippe Gondolo 5024G with a salmon coloured dial, Breguet numerals and a small seconds complication. But unlike the Patek, the Rotary is stainless steel, not white gold, and the movement is a simple quartz rather than a hand-wound mechanical movement. But the Rotary still epitomises class and elegance, and you can pick them up for less than £100, which is a steal. If you don't like salmon, there's the GS77968, a gold-plated variant with an off-white dial, but it is a bit harder to find. In fact, Rotary has made all sorts of cool rectangular watches in the past, even watches with reversible dials like the JLC Reverso. If you dig deep, you can find some real gems. This next watch is another Art Deco inspired watch. It's the Lipp Churchill T18. Lipp was founded in 1867 by Emanuel Isaac Lipp, and the T18 came in 1935. The The Churchill moniker came about after the watch was offered to former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill in 1946 in the aftermath of the Second World War. The modern T18 retains the Art Deco heritage and styling of the original, with its railroad minute track and sector dial, but with a choice of modern quartz or automatic movements. The quartz version measures 39mm by 21mm, which is a bit larger than a vintage Tank would have been, but again, it's still going to be a nice fit for most people. The quartz versions come in at €199, and the slightly larger automatics €499. A quick browse of the LIP catalogue reveals a number of really good looking models like the Nautic 3, but the brand was a victim of the quartz crisis and is now a mere husk of its former self, which is a real shame. I mentioned this watch in the previous Cartier Tank video when I recommended my stunning Tissot Heritage Z173, a beautiful, elegant Art Deco inspired watch from the 1990s. But the Z173 isn't the only interesting rectangular watch from the Heritage line, and the most unusual is this, the Tissot Heritage Banana Z181, with its wacky curved and elongated case. You will definitely need a bigger wrist to really pull this off, but if you can, you'll have a unique eye-catching dress watch. Tissot has won plaudits for modern watches like the PRX, but its back catalogue is jammed full of gems if you look closely. This is quartz unlike the 1930s watch that inspired it, which keeps the price very affordable. Of course, usual vintage and neo-vintage watch caveats apply. It's rare that a watch company focuses solely on dress watches, and even rarer that a watch company focuses on rectangular dress watches, but that's exactly what Swedish microbrand Sonna is all about. The nostalgia is Sonna's quartz rectangular dress watch, and it comes in a variety of models, including a couple of gold-plated variants and stainless steel variants with multiple dial colour options. It's nice and slim at 7.2mm compared to the 10.5mm thick Amorous automatic model, though again, the other case dimensions are a little bit more modern at 28 by 42mm. You can choose from a variety of alligator pattern leather straps or a stainless steel bracelet. They come in at a little over £300, which isn't too bad. As you may have noticed, it's actually quite hard to find modern Tank style watches that capture the sophistication of the very best watches in this style. If the watch isn't too big and thick, the dial is needlessly complicated or overly busy, and you're left with a feeling that something isn't quite right. The memoir by Australian microbrand Second Hour, on the other hand, straddles the line between vintage and modern style with a design that harkens back to the good old days but brings it into the 21st century. There's a cool little Art Deco motif on the case back which is charming, and it comes with a Ronda 1069 quartz movement, which is okay. Again, there's a nice variety of dial and strap colours, and they're priced at around £300, which is reasonable. And lastly, let's do something a bit fun and a bit crazy. We're going with the Bulova Frank Lloyd Wright 96A287. Frank Lloyd Wright was an American architect who achieved fame in the late 19th to mid 20th century with his iconic Prairie School of architectural design. The 96A287 is inspired by Frederick C. Roby House, a historic building designed by Frank Lloyd Wright from 1908 to 1909 and constructed from 1909 to 1910 in Chicago, Illinois, USA. Again, it's a bit larger than a classic Tank watch at 30.5mm by 43mm. Such is the modern watch market, but it still looks fantastic. It has a mineral crystal and a quartz movement. It's one of many collaborations between Bulova and the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation, which manages the architect's legacy. They're all quite quirky and different, some more so than others. They won't be everyone's cup of tea, but if you're looking to stand out from the crowd, one of these Bulovas is a great shout. So there we have it. 8 more cool, affordable alternatives to the Cartier Tank. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are there any that I've missed and you think I should have included? Drop a comment and maybe they'll feature in the next one. That's all I've got time for today. Thank you for watching and I'll see you again next time.